In a small village in northern Okinawa, 89-year-old Hana Oshiro keeps 20 plants. Some are in her garden. Some are in clay jars on a shelf above the kitchen sink. One pot lives on the windowsill, a small fleshy plant she's never once bought at a store. She has never called any of them medicine. She calls them dinner or tea or the thing her mother showed her when she was 9 years old. Hana's village, Ogimi, has more people living past 100 than almost anywhere on Earth. Not by a little, by a lot. And when researchers came to study what made these women live so long, they didn't find a supplement protocol. They didn't find a prescription regimen. They found something that made perfect sense once you saw it, and made no sense at all if you'd been listening to modern nutrition advice for the last 40 years. It was the shelf above the sink. This is what Hana keeps on that shelf, and what she does with it every morning.
I'm your host from the Lost Dispensary, where we recover the agricultural and herbal knowledge that got buried. Today, 20 herbs from the women who outlive everyone else on Earth and how to bring their system into your kitchen starting this week. In this video, you'll discover all 20 herbs Okinawan grandmothers have used for generations. You'll understand the biological mechanisms behind why they work, and why your turmeric capsule from Amazon almost certainly isn't doing what you think it is. And you'll leave with exact preparation methods, sourcing information, and safety notes for every single plant. Everything the grandmother knew. Nothing she didn't need. Quick thing before we start. If you want more recovered knowledge like this, hit subscribe. It's free. It keeps this channel alive, and I promise to keep digging. Hana learned how to use these plants from her mother Kame. Kame learned from her mother. 3 generations of women who built their medicine cabinet from the same garden plot behind a house in northern Okinawa. Hana was a young child during World War II and remembers clearly the time when these herbs were all they had. She has never stopped using them because, as she puts it, they never stopped working. That's the part the supplement industry never wants to be in the same room with. Because here is what the research has documented about Ogimi, Hana's village, and the Kunigami district of northern Okinawa. The region has the highest concentration of centenarians per capita on the planet. Okinawa as a whole shows approximately 50 centenarians per 100,000 residents. That's 4 to 5 times the rate of Western countries. For nearly 30 consecutive years, Okinawa ranked first in longevity among all 47 Japanese prefectures. When researchers from multiple Okinawan institutions published a collaborative review in Frontiers in Nutrition in 2018, they went looking for what specifically distinguished the diets and habits of these long-lived women. What they found was a convergence of botanical compounds, specific plants consumed daily in specific preparations, often in combination, that created antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects no isolated supplement has yet managed to replicate. That review confirmed what Hana's shelf already contained. And then there's the study that still hasn't gotten the attention it deserves. Researchers tested a water-based extract of shell ginger leaf, getu, the plant Hana has brewed into tea every single morning for 60 years, on a model organism. The lifespan extension result was 22.6%. The mechanism involved upregulation of SOD3, a longevity-associated gene, and enhanced free radical scavenging. That's not a wellness blog claim. That's peer-reviewed, published in PMC in 2018. The grandmother had been doing it since 1966. This is the pattern you'll see across all 20 plants. The science arrived late. The grandmother was already there. The anchor phrase you need to hold on to as we go through all of this is simple. The grandmother's kitchen was a pharmacy. She just didn't have a white coat. Every plant on Hana's shelf was doing something specific, not vaguely, not symbolically, biochemically specific. And modern science has now confirmed the mechanisms behind almost all of them, confirming not that the grandmothers were lucky, but that they had developed across generations of careful observation, a complete system. A layered, compounding daily system that no capsule can replicate because the capsule gives you 1 compound in isolation, and the grandmother gave herself 20 compounds in synergy every day for 89 years. That's mechanism 1, the compounding system. A 2018 PMC review of 27 Okinawan indigenous herbs confirmed that the combined daily use of multiple herbs creates a compound antioxidant effect that exceeds what any individual herb can deliver. Quercetin, chlorogenic acid, and gallic acid were isolated as primary antioxidant compounds across multiple species, with antioxidant activity in some cases stronger than vitamin E. The grandmother wasn't supplementing, she was cooking. The difference is everything. Mechanism 2 is bioavailability, and this is where the modern trap becomes visible. Think of a key that fits a lock. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, is the key. But in the standard capsule form, the lock is on the other side of a wall that curcumin can barely penetrate. The bioavailability of isolated curcumin in a standard capsule is somewhere between 3 and 5%. The studies that showed curcumin's remarkable anti-inflammatory effects used bioavailability-enhanced formulations, with piperine or phospholipid complexes to force absorption. Those are $40 a bottle formulations. The grandmother's preparation, simmering fresh turmeric in water with a pinch of black pepper and a drizzle of sesame oil, drunk warm, is functionally equivalent to those enhanced formulations. The fat increases curcumin absorption by up to 7x. The piperine in the black pepper increases it by 20x. This is not a discovery, it is what the grandmother was already doing. Her version cost her a piece of turmeric root from her garden. Mechanism 3. The NF-κB interruption pathway. This is the mechanism the inflammation industrial complex would rather not discuss. NF-κB is a protein complex that acts as a master switch for chronic inflammation. When it's chronically activated, which is the state most Western adults are in by their 50s, it drives the progression of cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, neurodegeneration, and multiple cancer types. Research published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences in 2023 confirmed that nobiletin, the primary flavonoid in shikuwasa, the sour little lime Okinawan grandmothers squeeze over virtually every savory dish, directly inhibits the NF-κB pathway. It also suppresses proliferation in multiple cancer cell lines. Okinawans in regions of high shikuwasa consumption show lower age-standardized mortality from ischemic stroke and several cancers. The sourness the grandmother added to every meal was doing something precise. She added it because it tasted right. The biology agrees. Mechanism 4. The blood sugar system. Here is where the grandmother's knowledge confronts pharmaceutical intervention directly. Goya, bitter melon, is the most iconic Okinawan grandmother dish. Goya shampuru, a stir-fry of sliced bitter melon with tofu and egg, is eaten almost daily in summer. The grandmother wasn't treating diabetes, she was feeding her family. But in randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, the gold standard of clinical research, bitter melon extract showed statistically significant reduction in HbA1c after 4 months. And here's the part that gets uncomfortable. A bitter melon peptide called MIC-IRBP19 reduced fasting blood glucose and HbA1c in patients who had already failed to respond to standard anti-diabetic drugs. The grandmother's dish worked on patients the pharmaceutical system couldn't reach. The science noticed what she always knew. For decades, the official position was that traditional plant-based food preparations were nutritionally interesting but clinically irrelevant compared to standardized pharmaceutical compounds. The reason that's wrong, the grandmother wasn't delivering one compound. She was delivering a system. Multiple compounds, multiple mechanisms, multiple synergistic interactions, delivered daily in bioavailable form alongside real food. No single drug or capsule has been engineered to do all of that simultaneously. And no drug company has any incentive to fund research that would prove it. You don't need to rediscover this from scratch. Here's how to rebuild Hana's system starting today. The 20 herbs fall into 3 layers. Foundation herbs, the ones Hana reaches for every single day without exception. Amplifiers, what she adds when the foundation needs reinforcement. And seasonal preparations, what she brings out in specific circumstances. Layer 1 is non-negotiable. These are the foundation herbs. Step 1. Shell ginger. Getu. Every morning before 7 a.m., Hana simmers 2 or 3 dried leaf segments in 2 cups of water for 10 minutes. The tea turns golden brown with a floral and spice note, clove and ginger with something almost medicinal underneath. This is her daily anti-aging foundation. The science behind it we've already covered. Where to find it? Search Geto Cha or Alpinia Zerumbet tea online or at Asian grocery stores. Amazon carries dried versions, about $10 to $15 for 30 or more servings. If you're on blood pressure medication, monitor your levels if you drink this daily. Geto may have an additive effect. Step 2. Okinawan turmeric, uchin. Every evening, Hana drinks a small cup of warm uchin water, half a teaspoon of freshly grated or powdered turmeric simmered in 1.5 cups of water for 10 minutes, with a pinch of black pepper and a drizzle of sesame or coconut oil. This is not a beverage. This is a precision anti-inflammatory delivery system that the grandmother figured out empirically and pharmacology confirmed scientifically. The target: chronic inflammation, joint pain, liver support, digestion. The safety note: turmeric has blood-thinning effects. If you're on warfarin, aspirin, or any anticoagulant, have a conversation with your doctor before making this a daily habit. Not because it's dangerous, because it works. Stop for a second. Go to your kitchen cabinet right now. If you have turmeric in there, check the date. If it's been there more than 6 months, it has lost most of its volatile compounds. The grandmother didn't store turmeric in a cabinet. She kept a piece of root in the refrigerator or grew it in a pot. The difference between her turmeric and yours may be everything. Step 3. Mugwort, yomogi. This is the herb Okinawan grandmothers pick during walks and dry for stock, brewed as tea during illness, colds, fevers, added to soups, made into green mochi. Hana also uses a warm compress of strong yomogi tea for joint pain. Cloth soaked in the brew, applied for 15 to 20 minutes. The biological action: anti-inflammatory, immune support, digestive regulation, high vitamin K. Find it at Asian grocery stores in spring or dried from Japanese herb suppliers online. Search yomogi tea or Japanese mugwort tea. Avoid during pregnancy. It's a uterine stimulant in high doses, same for those with ragweed or chrysanthemum allergies. Step 4. Chomiso, long life grass. The name literally means long life grass. The folklore says eating 1 stalk per day adds 1 day to your life. A proverb from a culture that takes these things seriously enough to have documented it. The herb is eaten raw in salads, blanched in miso soup, or used as garnish with fish. Rich in quercetin and chlorogenic acid, the same compounds confirmed in the broad-spectrum Okinawan Phytochemical Review. This one is harder to find outside Japan. Search Chomiso Sakuna or Sakuna herb online. Some Japanese grocery stores in large cities carry it dried. Can be grown in pots. Very safe for general consumption. Parsley family, so start small if you have parsley or celery sensitivity. Step 5. Goya, bitter melon. We've covered the clinical data. Now here's the preparation. Slice in half lengthwise, scoop the seeds, slice thin, rub with salt, and let sit 10 minutes. This pulls out bitterness. Rinse, then stir fry with oil, tofu, egg, and a little salt. For a direct blood sugar preparation, slice thin, steep in a glass of water in the refrigerator overnight. Drink the water in the morning. Fresh Goya is at any Asian grocery store in summer for $2 to $4. Critical safety note: bitter melon can lower blood sugar significantly. If you're on insulin or metformin, your doctor needs to know you're eating Goya regularly. This is not a supplement. It works. Step 6. Shiso, perilla. The grandmother didn't brew this every day. She just added it to everything. Tear fresh green shiso leaves and scatter over rice, soup, salad, fish. For a specific allergy and respiratory preparation, boil a handful of red shiso leaves with a little rice vinegar and honey. Strain, drink warm or chilled. The active compound for respiratory and anti-allergy action is rosmarinic acid. The antibacterial properties explain why shiso was traditionally placed alongside raw fish. It was food safety logic before microbiology existed. Find it fresh at Asian grocery stores or grow it easily from seed, very easy in US climates. Bundles for about $2.
Step 7. Handama, Okinawa spinach. You'll recognize it by the purple underside of the leaf. The grandmothers called it a blood-building food, particularly for women. Blanch for 30 seconds, squeeze out water, dress with sesame oil and soy sauce, or stir-fry with garlic. The purple pigment is anthocyanin, the same compound as in blueberries. High iron, potassium, calcium, vitamin A. Blood pressure support. Antioxidant. The raw leaf has the highest anthocyanin content. Find it labeled Okinawa spinach or handama at Asian grocery stores. Can be grown from cuttings in U.S. zones 9 to 11 or indoors. About $2 to $4 a bunch. Step 8. Shikuwasa, Okinawan lime. Here's the NF-kappa B mechanism made practical. The grandmother squeezed green, unripe shikuwasa over fish, into soups, into drinks.
The unripe fruit has considerably more nobiletin than the ripe version. Even a few drops over a meal delivers a compound now being studied as both a cancer preventive and a cognitive protector. As a drink, fresh juice diluted with cold water, lightly sweetened. As a condiment, mixed with soy sauce, ponzu style, over anything. Find it as a concentrate online search shikuwasa or shikuwasa juice. The closest substitute flavor-wise is calamansi lime. Important safety note. Shikuwasa interacts with statin drugs and calcium channel blockers similarly to grapefruit. If you're on these medications, check with your doctor before daily use. Now, back to the shelf. Here is the part that nobody in the supplement industry wants you to sit with. In 2000, something happened in Okinawa. For the first time in nearly 30 years, Okinawa was no longer the longest-living prefecture in Japan. Men's longevity ranking had fallen from first place to 26th in a single generation. The women who kept their gardens, who still drank getu cha in the morning and made goya shampuru for dinner, they were still living into their 90s. It was their children and grandchildren, the ones who'd grown up eating from American fast food chains near the U.S. military bases, the ones who'd stopped growing anything and started buying everything. Those were the ones getting sick in their 60s. Younger generations showed increased rates of type 2 diabetes, acute myocardial infarction, chronic liver disease. The root cause documented by researchers, westernization of diet, abandonment of traditional herbs and plant-based foods, increased animal fat intake starting in the 1960s under U.S. military base influence. The herbs didn't stop working. The people stopped using them. That distinction matters, because what it means is that the system Hana uses isn't a relic. It's not a cultural curiosity. It's the thing that was there before the decline, and it's still there in the women who kept it. Layer 2. The amplifiers. What Hana reaches for when the foundation needs reinforcement. Step 9. Sanpin cha, jasmine tea. This is Okinawa's everyday tea, more popular on the island than mainland Japanese green tea. The grandmother's default drink when she's not brewing something more specific. Chinese slightly fermented tea base infused with fresh jasmine flowers. Steep 1 bag or 1 teaspoon loose leaf at 80 degrees Celsius, not boiling, for 2 to 3 minutes. Do not oversteep. Drink warm throughout the day. Relaxation, polyphenol antioxidants, digestive support, mild cardiovascular benefit, sleep quality. Find it at any Asian grocery store labeled Sanpin cha or Okinawa jasmine tea. About $5 to $8 for a box of 30 to 50 bags. Step 10. Noni. Morinda citrifolia. The grandmothers held their noses and drank it anyway. The smell of fermented noni, somewhere between overripe cheese and something that is given up, did not concern them because the effect on joint pain, headaches, blood pressure, and immune function was not in question. The traditional preparation involves allowing ripe fruit to ferment naturally in a jar and draining the liquid. Commercially, it's sold as bottled juice. Mix with pineapple or mango to manage the flavor. 1 to 2 ounces per day is the traditional serving, high in potassium. Those with kidney disease or on potassium-sparing medications should not use this. Some liver toxicity reports at very high doses. Stick to the traditional serving size. Step 11. Hibiscus. The grandmothers made large pitchers of it in summer and kept them in clay pots. Steep 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried red calyxes in 2 cups of hot water for 5 to 7 minutes. Strain. Add honey to taste. Drink warm or chilled. The deep crimson color signals anthocyanin concentration. Multiple clinical studies have documented blood pressure reduction. Also, cardiovascular support, liver health, mild diuretic effect. Find it at health food stores, Mexican grocery stores where it's sold as Jamaica, or online. Very affordable, about $5 to $8 for a bag with 50 or more servings. Those already on blood pressure medication should monitor levels. Step 12. Aloe vera, a kitchen plant in Okinawan homes grown in pots near the stove. The grandmother would cut a leaf and apply the clear inner gel directly to burns, cuts, and sun damage. It never occurred to her to buy a product when the plant was right there. For internal use, scoop the clear gel from a fresh leaf, mix with a little water and honey, drink 1 to 2 tablespoons. Critical distinction: the outer latex layer of aloe is a powerful laxative and should not be consumed. Only the inner clear gel, not for internal use during pregnancy. A potted aloe plant costs about $5 at any nursery. Step 13. Fuchiba, felon herb. This is the herb that gives Okinawa soba its distinctive character. A small handful of fresh or dried leaves added to broth in the last 5 minutes of cooking. It is related to yomogi, but a distinct variety specific to the Ryukyu Islands. The grandmother added it to almost every broth. Beyond flavor, it has digestive support properties and artemisinin compounds with antiparasitic effects. It also warms, used specifically for cold conditions and poor circulation. Find it at Okinawan specialty stores or online by searching Fuchiba. Regular wormwood or mugwort is an acceptable botanical substitute. Same safety precautions as yomogi. Avoid during pregnancy. Step 14. Seron benkei, air plant. Kalancho pinnata, the Okinawan kitchen window plant. The grandmother kept it on the sill the way most households keep aspirin in the cabinet. For headaches, crush 1 or 2 fresh leaves slightly and lay against the forehead or temples. For immunity, eat 1 or 2 fresh leaves daily. The leaf is fleshy, mildly flavored, can be added to fresh juice. Find it at tropical plant nurseries. Search Kalancho pinnata, miracle leaf, or life plant. Easy to grow indoors on a sunny windowsill, about $5 to $10 as a potted plant. Important safety note: contains bufadienolide compounds with cardiac glycoside-like effects. Not for anyone on cardiac medications or with heart conditions without medical supervision. Not for pregnant women. Step 15. Hipazu, Okinawan pepper, Piper retrofractum. A warming digestive spice used in soups, rice dishes, and stir-fries. The grandmother ground the dried berries and used them as a pepper substitute, particularly with fish and miso soup. The piperine content also serves a functional purpose alongside turmeric preparations, the same mechanism as black pepper, enhancing curcumin bioavailability. Long pepper from Indian grocery stores is a close and easy-to-find substitute. May aggravate acid reflux or GERD in sensitive individuals. Start with very small amounts. Step 16. Ryukyu yomogi, Okinawan mugwort. The Okinawan variety of Artemisia, distinct from mainland yomogi, with broader leaves and a stronger medicinal tradition in the Ryukyu Islands. This one was also used in moxibustion, dried leaves compressed into sticks and burned near acupoints to stimulate circulation. As a tea during cold and flu season, steep 1 tablespoon of dried leaves in 1.5 cups of hot water for 7 to 10 minutes. Stronger and more medicinal than the culinary yomogi preparation. Moxa sticks are widely available at acupuncture supply stores and online. If you're new to moxibustion, consult an acupuncturist first. Same pregnancy contraindication as all Artemisia varieties. Step 17. Nira, garlic chive. A daily vegetable in grandmother kitchens. Stir-fried with scrambled eggs and sesame oil. Added to miso soup, dressed as a salad with rice vinegar. Hana uses it the way traditional Chinese medicine uses it, as a warming, yang-supporting herb for liver function, circulation, and energy. The allicin compounds put it in the same family as garlic, antibacterial, cholesterol-regulating, digestive support. Find it at Asian grocery stores labeled garlic chive or nira for about $1 to $3 a bunch. very easy to grow from seed in any U.S. climate. Same family as garlic and onion. Use in moderation if you have GERD or IBS. Layer 3. Seasonal and occasion herbs. Step 18. Okinawan sweet potato leaf. The root gets the attention. The leaf is what the grandmother used medicinally, high in carotenoids and anthocyanins, especially in purple varieties, with antioxidant content comparable to the root itself. Blanch young leaves for 1 to 2 minutes, drain, dress with sesame oil and salt, or add to miso soup as you'd use spinach. The grandmother treated them as she would any leafy green, cooked simply, eaten regularly. Grow your own sweet potato vine in a pot and harvest the leaves continuously. Fresh leaves for about $2 to $4 at Asian grocery stores in summer, or free if you grow the vine. Step 19. Mozuku seaweed. This one comes from the sea, not the garden, but the grandmother treated it exactly the same way. Okinawa produces 90% of Japan's mozuku. Eaten as mozuku-su, rinsed, dressed with rice vinegar, dashi, and a little soy sauce. Eaten cold as a starter before meals. The grandmother's bowl before eating was functioning as a prebiotic gut protective preparation. The active compound fucoidan has been studied extensively for immune modulation and cancer preventive properties. Find it at Japanese grocery stores, fresh, salted, or in ready-to-eat cups, about $3 to $5 per portion. High iodine content. Those with thyroid conditions or on thyroid medication should consult a doctor before regular use. Step 20. Kuganisu, coastal mugwort, Artemisia capillaris. This is the seasonal cleansing herb, a coastal Artemisia variety used specifically for liver support, bile regulation, and skin clarity. The grandmother used it in spring as a cleansing preparation. Steep 1 teaspoon of dried herb in 1 cup of hot water for 10 minutes. 1 small cup once daily during a 2 to 4 week seasonal period. Not for everyday use. Find it at traditional Chinese medicine pharmacies in U.S. cities. Its Chinese medicine name is Inchin, Yin Chen, about $10 to $20 for dried herb, more potent than culinary mugwort. Avoid during pregnancy. If you have liver disease, consult a doctor before using this one. Paradoxically, very high doses can stress the liver rather than support it. Does any of this smell familiar? Not the herbs, the feeling. The way your grandmother's kitchen smelled. If you grew up in a household where someone made tea from plants, where a leaf was crushed and put in something, where there was a jar on the windowsill that you weren't allowed to touch, you already know this. You just forgot the name of what it was. Hana never forgot. The grandmother's kitchen was a pharmacy. She just didn't have a white coat. We started with a shelf above a kitchen sink in Ogimi. We followed the science. 3 studies, 5 mechanisms, 20 plants, and landed back in the same place. Not at a supplement company's website, not at a clinical trial waiting for a patent, at a garden plot behind a house, and the women who never stopped tending it. The knowledge that kept Okinawa at the top of the longevity rankings for 30 years didn't disappear. It lives in the women who refused to trade their Getu cha for a pharmaceutical alternative. Women like Hana. Last winter, a woman wrote to me. She was 71, managing joint pain and blood pressure for 7 years, increasingly frustrated that her medication list kept growing. She had started with just the Getu cha and the Uchin water 6 months earlier. She told me her last blood pressure reading was the lowest her doctor had seen in 4 years. She had started a small pot of shelled ginger on her kitchen windowsill. She said, "I didn't think it would be this simple." It isn't simple. It's a system. A system that took generations to build, a generation to nearly lose, and is still there in the hands of the women who kept it. If this resonated, our video on Okinawa's forgotten kitchen fermentation techniques covers the other half of what these grandmothers were doing. The fermented preparations and ancestral food methods that disappeared alongside the herb use. It's the missing piece. Have you tried any of these herbs? Do you have a plant your grandmother used that nobody in your family can name anymore? Drop it in the comments. This community is how we keep recovering this knowledge. The dispensary stays open. I'll see you in the next one.